But as we open the round today, the leader is the only player under par, Hong Ji-yeon. We also have Kim Ji-young-2 in the top three. Ha-min Song is there as well, but as it has been since we kicked the festivities off earlier in the week, the Jade Palace is playing a very, very difficult course to try and tame. 62 players of the 120 who started this event will be with us through the course of the weekend. And again, Hong Ji-yeon, our leader, through 7 holes of competition on this Saturday. Take a look at the conditions. The forecast for the afternoon looks to be just fantastic conditions. Sunny, no clouds in the sky, or at least very few, 23 degrees. And the only notable bit of information from the forecast is the wind. That is 2.7 meters per second. It is enough to be steady. It is enough to be noticeable, but it is not as though we are experiencing any gusts that should really play a factor down the stretch here. Continuing to cascade through the leaderboard, it is Yoo-hae Ran who is through 8 holes. She is 4 over through the day in a tie for 14th position. Cho Ayan, she is 3 over. Pak Gyal, 4 over. Both of those players at 8 over for the tournament. Chi Han Sol, another player that has been falling victim to this course, 4 over, as is Chung Yoon Ji. Matasomi, Chaeyeon-2, both at double digits over par. But 10 over, well, that is the 31st, at least tied for 31st score on the evening. Park Ji-young also 10 over, but she is 7 over through 9 holes of play, as is Lee Joo-mi at 11, beyond par. Hyun-se Rim, Lee So-young, as well as Choo-hae Rim, all at that plus 11 mark as we begin our coverage today. Kim Se-eun, Kim In-kyung, Kim Chae-hee, Na-hyeon, Kang Da-na. Those are the players tied for 42nd at plus 12. Hong So-yeon, Lee Seung-yeon, both with identical scores both for the day and for the event, plus 7 through 14, and a combined score of 13 over. Well, with the players still making their way to their respective greens and us in a commercial break, a poorly timed one, we'll continue to roll through this leaderboard. Chun Ye-sung, Lee So-mi, that's a notable name at plus 6 and 13 over. An Sun-ju and Hong Jin-young 2. Oh Ji-hyun, a past champion of this event, well, she made the cut, but with the way the day is going, she is out of contention and almost certainly will not be competing for the title this week. Going through some of the groups, teeing off at 11:06 a.m. local time this morning on the first tee. Park Ji-young as well as Jenny Sheen. Kim Woo-jung, Pang Min-ji, Yoo-hae Ran. They teed off at 11:17 local time. The next group consisting of Moon Jung-min, Chung Hee-yeon, and Kim A-rim. It was 11:28 a.m. that they teed off. And Kim Ji-hyun, Yoo So-yeon, and Ha-min Song, they had a tee off at 11:39 local time. And then this is when we get into the heavy hitters. Hong Ji-yeon, Chung Yoon-ji, Kim Ji-young-2. The last group to tee off today on the first hole at 11:50 a.m. That was just over 2 hours and 15 minutes ago, nearing the midway mark of their third rounds. That is the title that is up for grabs this week, the gorgeous silver trophy with the orange tassels. Along with that, 1.4 billion won in the combined purse, 252 of that set aside for the winner, 154 million, that is for the runner-up, and 132 for P3. Well, the pictures, the landscapes to match the forecast, absolutely sublime conditions. And about midway through the rounds for the leading contenders on the day. Let's get out to course now. We will begin on the 8th hole. This is Kim Ji-hyun. Just before the fringe, a little pitch up on as it finally comes to rest, about 4.5 to 5 meters away from a par. In that group with Yoo So-yeon and Ha-min Song. Now Pun-min Ji. She too nears the midway mark of her round. She is putting for par to stay at 4 over. That is 5 back of the leader. In a tie for 5th position at the minute. A little right to left, nothing to cause her any difficulties. She reaches the turn 2 over, bogeys 1, 4, and 6. One birdie in that fray as well. And now the par putt after the short game effort. She had the weight, but it is just above the cup. It is a tap-in bogey. That takes her down to 4 over as well into that aforementioned tie for 5th position. This is 10 and a look at birdie for Kim Soo-ji. From just off the front of the green, should be a little right to left, slightly downhill, 3.9 meters out. The line looks okay if the weight is there. She has both. Good way to start the back nine with her first birdie of the day. And in sole possession of 10th place now after that pickup. We'll go to 8 with Chung Yoon Ji. She is 4 over for the day after her 67 yesterday. What a remarkable round it was for her on Friday. Able to find the green, but it's going to roll all the way to the fringe and stay put just beyond pin high. Staying in this fairway. Jeonji is the leader at 1 under. She's 142 meters to go, playing 7-iron. Will land in a very promising position on that approach. Next to no impact from the wind that is playing fairly calm on this 8th hole. Next up will be Kim Ji-young too, but unfortunately for her situation, it is out of the rough. She is forced to lay up. It is about as unforgiving as it gets, this second, third, and quite frankly, the fescue from there. Almost impossible to try and attack from that location. We are in Chuncheon-si, the Gangwon-do province at Jade Palace, 1.4 billion won up for grabs. What we do know is that we will have a new winner this week, this year even. It was Lee Da-yeon who won the title in 2021. She had a 65, 7 under here in the 3rd round. She failed to make the cut, so it is wide open unless Park Jae-yoon or Oh Ji-hyun make some kind of remarkable charge. It will be a first-time winner of this major. Should be an absolutely fantastic weekend of golf ahead of us. After the layup, Kim Ji-young too has 84 meters to approach. It is slightly left to right and slightly a headwind for her. Just trying to tuck this in close. She zips it back to the fringe, so she will have either a chip or a putt from off the green to try and save a par. Unfortunately not able to recover from that mistake off the tee. She is 1 over for the day through 7. She started the round with a birdie on the first, had bogeys on 2 and 6, and unless she has some kind of exceptional short game play, it will be another bogey. Won't drop her out of second position though, but it will increase that gap between she and her groupmate Hong Jian.
오케이.
The pin placement today on 10, just off the front right of the green. That is almost exactly over the sand. Plays a little bit safe going to the left. It's just shallow of pin high, but on and putting with a look at par next. Unfortunately for Kim Ji-young too, she is still away, so she will be the first to play here. See the way she's gesturing, she's anticipating a dip to the right on the ball's path to the hole. Needs this to prevent a bogey, but it is 14 meters away. Bouncing it a few times through the fringe. It's under hit, and the little bounce certainly not helping her cause, so it will be at least one drop shot. And no guarantees that it will only be bogey, as she still has some work to do here. G is next. She is just on the green from the fringe. This, though, will look at birdie. Similar yardage, about 11 to 12 meters. Starts back to the right. Doesn't quite get enough of the cup, though, for it. Do you have any ideas of falling for her? Look at it from her perspective. That close, she knew. This is Hamin Song at 9. Another situation where she's playing out of the rough and not attempting to risk it from there. Just a layup towards the end of that fairway. Now Kim Ji-hyun will drop 2.5 meters. Down from the fairway to the green, over 100 on this approach. I believe she's gone with the 56 degree. Gets a bit of a roll, but not as much as she would have been hoping for. It's online and has just enough to drop. That is now 2 birdies on the day for our leader, who increases her lead. Ironically, in her career, tied for 3rd is her best ever finish. Her only time in the top 5, and it was last year at this event at Jade Palace. She loves this course, and through 2.5 rounds, she is putting together another remarkable effort here in Gangwon-do. Aside from that T3, twice she finished inside the top 10, the Hanwha Resort Ladies Open of 2021, the 15th S-Oil Championship also of 2021. This season, her best result tied for 10th for Hong Ji-young. Now Kim Ji-young too, trying to avoid a double bogey, but that is pushed away. A miss to the outside, and all of a sudden, the lead atop the leaderboard just got a whole lot more comfortable, as she is in line for 2 over and 4 back by the time she reaches the 9th tee. Speaking of 9, this is Ha-Min Sung from the fairway out of the layup, trying to set up a par. Gets it to bite. It does just that inside of a meter, and she will almost certainly be saving that par. Her par at 8. Now 5 back through no fault of her own, but by virtue of her group mate finding a birdie. Kim Soo-ji. Her approach at 11. It is a perfectly straight shot. The dead center of this fairway. It's a nice little roll, but still will need to earn that birdie. Double bogey is the score. That is now 4 over since she birdied the opening hole of this 3rd round. The young golf fans as well out with this being Saturday, to get out to the Jade Palace and cheer on their favorites, some idols, some mentors as well, no doubt. Ji-hyun, she still theoretically has a chance for birdie, but it is downhill, uphill, and downhill again from over 16 meters away. Realistically, she knows she just wants to get this close. Rich blue skies, and that is the aforementioned steady, significant wind for the day. brush off that birdie, teeing off our final hole of the front nine. Another fantastic drive, lands it exactly in its most narrow part of the fairway. Look back at how she's been able to play off the tee on the par 4s and 5s. She is on average taking 10 meters off of her drives and has been exactly 64% in her first 36 holes. ENG is averaging about 10 meters, 10 yards, that is longer per drive. Had missed one more fairway than the leader through the midway mark of this tournament. Unfortunately for her, she is unable to land in the first cuts. Now Kim Ji-young too, who knows she needs a big rebound after a double bogey. Follow through a little bit longer as she tried to get eyes on where it was headed. Where it was headed was the rough. That is the kind of course we are playing at here at Jade Palace. It's not a, oops, I missed by 3 or 4 meters, I can still go for it. It's any thought at birdie, and now you really have to work for par, even after your tee shot. It's an absolutely exquisite drive from the leader. Strong without overcomplicating or trying to swing through anything. Chung Yoon-ji, who dips that left knee a little bit early, gets the left heel off the ground. And then it is just the combined rotation. Lets her hands follow through. Doesn't ask them to do any overcompensating. Banging away. For those three to reach their balls, let's head to 9, or at least the green of it. Kim Ji-hyun for par. From our perspective, we'll be starting it above the hole. That's the perfect line to finish with a par, but 5 over after 2 bogeys and a double at the turn. Next up will be Pang Min-ji at 10. It's going to bring her to 3 over, 4 meters away. So narrowly stays out. It is a tap in for her par. No doubt she and Yoo-Hae Ran will be pushing each other all day long. Using the other as motivation off of good shots. And now Hamin Song at 9. Just a little tap in for par, and she is there. She is out with a 40, a birdie, a bogey, and 2 doubles. Kim Soo-ji at 11 is next. 4.6 meters. Her misses to the inside of the hole. Just a short tap in to finish. 5 over through 11 for the tournament. 2 over for the day. There's a world where Chung Yoon-ji decides to go for it. That world does not involve a major championship, however. Little layup to find the fairway once again. Young to imagine will do the exact same. Uneventful but important shots in the grand scheme of this hole. The only player on the fairway off the tee is our leader. It is a straightforward look down. That flag off center to the right, but also at the back of the green. 8 meters from the back, 9 yards from the right. And it's in a pretty good spot. We'll be able to roll mostly up the hill. Don't want to oversimplify, but really, finding the fairway is one of the key ingredients to going low this week. So she's on the green, and now what can Kim Ji-young do and Chung Yoon-ji do with a third? The only way to gain ground here would be holing out, otherwise they are just trying to be close and keeping par alive at the ninth. That is 96 meters for Chung Yoon-ji. Looks good contact. Ends up pretty well. Double the shadow of that flag, and that's where you'll find her away from the hole. To 33% of the time this week that she has found the fairway, she has birdied. That is tied for fourth. Only 12% of the time she's found the rough, she's been able to birdie. Despite that being just into the double digits, that is tied for fifth. But just as Chung Yoon-ji had done, it's in a makeable position in the search for par when they reach the green and pull putter out of their bags. Let's go to 12 with last week's winner, Han Shin-sun. She is 8 over. Playing a very tricky downhill putt, trying to pick up a birdie. She might have been able to wait long enough for the wind to blow it. That's how marginal and how minimal force was required to get it started. But what she does perfectly well there is have it on line. It's excruciating to watch, but no doubt, I'm sure, absolutely fantastic to see finally go down. That approach rides the wind a little bit for Peng Min-ji and is about 6 meters away from her target. Should be one putt territory. She loves those mid to high range putts, doesn't she? She is in a tie for 5th position at 4 over. Hong Ji-yeon leads the tournament 2 under through 8. Kim Ji-young 2, the runner-up, 4 strokes back, also through 8. Im Ji-ni and Chung Yoon-ji in this top 4. On moving day at the Hanwha Classic 2022 here at Jade Palace. We'll step aside momentarily and be right back for more from this major championship. Our leader has reached the green.
Okay.
She has herself lined up. This is the effort for a birdie. Just comes up short.
Hey, nice day.
So she goes out with a 35, 1 under, and considering that everyone else is seemingly having some difficulties keeping up with this course, that is more than enough to sustain that advantage. We'll go to 11 with Peng Min-ji trying to save a par, needs to drop soon. It stays high, it stays short, and it is a tap-in bogey. 3 over now through 11. Staying on 9, what an imposing bit of landscaping that is with the cliff and the mountainside overlooking the hole. G on 2 after her double bogey at the last, needs this to avoid dropping another. Looks good. That is a big time save. She is still out with a 39, 3 over, but she keeps herself in sole possession of second with a clutch putt. She had been level with Hong Ji-yeon at 143 strokes through 36 holes. 4 strokes that separate them, all from this front 9. We might see a 15-stroke difference from last year's winner, Lee Dae-yeon, at 19 under, and this year's at this point. Jung Yoon-ji, 50%, 1 putt makes on the season. The putter has not been her favorite club. Lets her down again. Down goes the marker. Quick realignment. Encourages the ball. Say, hey, don't let us down here, please. I could really use this. She knows she'll be bogeying. That will take her down to a tie for second instead of the outright, but she's trying to avoid a double. Like the pace of that first backswing, starts over. It is just the one drop shot. 5 over through 9 holes of play, not a birdie to be seen. This is the accumulated results of the tee shots at 9 today. Red you see on screen, those dots, represents the birdies that have been found. Only 22 of the 59 tee shots have been able to find the fairway today at 10. Just enough to get through the rough, and not only that, say hello to what should be birdie number 10 here at 10. 55% of those who have played this first hole of the East Course today have been par. Now Ha-Min Sung thinking, I'll take that exact stroke, please and thank you. The difference is she doesn't land in the rough whatsoever, lands on the green, and it shoots off to the fringe. A bit of a zoom out and show you everything from the tee box to the green. As you can see, downhill off the tee, downhill by 25 meters from where they tee up to the fairway. at its most narrow before the green, it is 30 meters away. That is why we are seeing many players finding the rough here. It is a very narrow bit of real estate to try and ascertain. And then 6 meters off the front, 6 meters from the right, the pin today. By the rough, the fringe, and the sand. And anything beyond the first 50% of the putting surface will almost certainly be rolling to the fringe. 58 birdies, that is it all week to this point. A birdie in round one, a par in round two. It was Moon Jung-min who has the only 2 on this par 4 of the week thus far. Kim Ji-young 2 will be the next to tee off. Yesterday, 10 was the first of 3 birdies in a row for her. We'll resume that featured group momentarily. Quickly over to Hamin Song, playing out of the rough to a close position, which should almost certainly be a par. Glancing of the scorecard, what's in front, how's the fairway playing, how have we done the first 2 times we've played it, all the questions she and her caddy are working through at the moment. Kim Ji-hyun, a slight right to left putt on the verge of a slope to find a birdie. Just a little tap. That's enough up the middle. The first birdie of the day starts off the back 9 on a high. Didn't have a single birdie on the back 9 yesterday. Her birdies were at 4 and 6. Similar, slightly different though for Hamin Song. No birdies, but an eagle at the 16th. She was perfectly even through 36 holes, 4 over through the first 9 holes. Trying to salvage a par, just a little tap in that she's able to convert upon. Most startling statistic from the slash from the first 9 is that she has not found a single fairway in regulation. She's missed 2/3 of her greens in regulation to boot. Jeong 2 at long last is ready. Can She find a fairway? No. Once again into the thick rough that has layup written all over it. ENG, the next, a grip and a rip. Does it stay in the fairway? No, that also finds the rough. It is very difficult to take a little bit off your drive without sacrificing the hand positions and everything else that makes it what it is. Well, down she goes and looking rightfully satisfied with that. Still just the one player under par. Hong Ji-yeon, the leader. Kim Ji-young 2 at 2 over. Im Ji-ni, Kim Ji-hyun 3 over. Han Min-sung and Chung Yoon-ji 4 over. No Sung-yi on page 2 of the leaderboard along with Han Chin-sun. This is the Hanwha Classic for 2022 and it is taking no prisoners. Making the field work for the title, work for the birdies. And those birdies have been hard to come by. Another break, back on the other side. Here from Jade Palace. Welcome back. Here is the leader's approach. High lofted shot, that just finds the front of the green. And yeah, goodbye ball. There isn't really a way to appropriately explain to people new to the sport how difficult that is. In a perfect world, if you had every ounce of control over the shot and where it lands, it's the rough. And it will just dribble on and stay close. But 90% of the time, you're short of that and you're either stuck in the second cut or in the sand. And not only are you not looking at birdie, but you're thinking about bogey at that point as well. It is so incredibly difficult. Just one of the many examples on how challenging this Jade Palace is playing this week. Here's Kim Ji-young 2. Has no choice but to go for it and not lay up. A similar fate, however. Lands on the green and keeps on rolling onto the fringe. Hamin Song. It's 147 meters to go at 11. Really overswings there, trying to get it through. Avoids the sand, but comes up short of the green. And back to Chen. Chung Eun-ji starts this a little bit left, but she is able to land exactly where she needed to. Rough to rough for par doesn't sound straightforward, but it is the key here on the first hole of the East course. Over to 12 with Peng Min-ji, buck 18, trying to make up. Comes up short and finds the thick rough as well. Kim Ji-young 2 needs this to hit the brakes. She should still be able to convert on the par. There's still 33 meters to go for Hamin Song. Makes a difficult situation look anything but as she nestles that in just a few short centimeters away. is improbable, but not impossible for Hong Ji-yeon to find another birdie on the day. It's 13.8 meters and drastically uphill, however. It's a good effort, and it will be a par. A tap in to stay at 2 under. 8 holes to play on this moving day. Minji just narrowly able to find the green, and that reaction from the fans says it all. Oh no is right as it rolls right back to the fringe. Minji to make up for one of the drop strokes she's had so far today, but she's overhit this. Caddy asked for it to stop. It does. About 3 meters to the inside of her target. Well, Kim Ji-yeon too is in a difficult way at the moment. It's another bogey. Now 5 off the pace, considering she was within a few strokes just about half an hour ago. Now Bung Min-ji gets this close, but it doesn't prevent her bogey. Really taking her time standing over this ball. But still, she mishits it. Confounded, as it is now 4 bogeys in her last 5 holes. Simply inexcusable to be dropping from that short of a distance. You could tell she hesitated, she didn't like it, and it cost her. Narrowly having enough speed on it. Kim Ji-yeon 3 over through 11. Now Bung Min-ji Down she goes, but it is back-to-back bogeys as well. That takes her to 8 back of the lead. Sung finishes 4 over for the tournament, 8 holes to play. Down off the tee, dogleg right this hole. Narrow of fairways to await her there. To the next 2 tee off. Desperately, she needs to start finding some fairways on the way in. On the tee at 11. Walking forward, slightly unsure. It's off to the right. By the slimmest of margins, that finds the green on the extreme left. It is rolling back towards the middle, but that is a long way to go for Pengmin Ji, who leads the KLPGA money list through 19 events this season. Yuhei Ran, the points leader, EA1, who missed the cut by 1 stroke, the leading rookie. Yuhei Ran, by the way, she is 6 over for the day and 9 over for the event, and a tie for 17th. And that lead for Pengmin Ji over the aforementioned Yuhei Ran, 56.2 million. Excuse me. Another dogleg right. This time on the 11th, that is 393 meters, this par 4. 3 bunkers dotting the left side of the fairway. There is water off to the left as well. Then, over the cart path, over the narrow fairway, and over the sand trap, we arrive at the green, where the pin is just 8 yards from the back left, and 8 yards from the back. Being short here takes away just about any opportunity for birdie. Being long probably does the same. Another hole with very fine margins. Out of the rough and by the skin of her teeth avoids the sand, kicks out into, can't quite call it a great location, but considering the alternative was a trip to the beach, that works out fairly well. Ji, who is just not able to catch a break this past half an hour or so. More troubles landing and staying on the green. All the way off the back for Kim Ji-young too. She unfortunately is in a unwelcomed battle with Jung Yoon-ji for the worst luck down the stretch here. That advances down from fairway to fairway here at the par 5. Time advancing down, but being on the wrong side of the fairway into the rough for Hamin Song. Ji on the par 3 13th, a long way to go, trying to avoid a bogey. Just short. Taps in, did the heavy lifting. Just a simple par at the very end.
거기가 쭉 빨가면 돼.
just how steep of a drop this is. Rough catches it just a few meters off the back for Kim Ji-young too. This is going to pitch almost directly up into the air, needs it to bite and spin. Doesn't quite do much of either. That is the ticket out from that line. Now, considering the difficulty she had with the short putt not too long ago, can she capitalize on this opportunity? Let's go to 12 with Kim Ji-hyun, 128 meters back and almost 10 meters downhill. Doesn't escape the fringe. Almost always a putt that lands there will end up in a great spot. But too much backspin, and the fact that there's still a little bit more of an uphill before the green means that there will be no joy on that approach shot. Song is the next to play. It is just, unfortunately for her, in that thick rough. Through the fringe, through the fairway, excuse me, rolls up onto the fringe and stays put. Long, initially downhill putt. Comes up just shy, it was off to the left as well. Kim Ji-young too. This was the effort for par. It is short. First of two efforts from the fringe. Has to be light, but Hamin Song, unfortunately, is relatively heavy there. Curious to see if she's able to salvage par next, which is exactly what Chung Yoon-ji is trying to do. Able to convert. Stops the bleeding a little bit, but still a disappointing Saturday in progress for her. Has to be said. It's about 80% of the remaining distance down and under her belt. While everyone else around her seemingly is dropping strokes left and right, she has another par. Sometimes it doesn't have to be birdie filled to be an exciting round. More exciting to win than to be dropping strokes all over the course. You can unfortunately say that Kim Ji-young too is in that category as well with Chung Yoon-ji. Just the slightest of taps to get this started. Okay. We saw a similar putt a little while ago. Hamin Song, again, hardly even makes contact with the ball. And just has to trust that she's online and let gravity do the rest. Kim Ji-hyun. Gone about halfway between the marker and the hole just to make sure she understands the lie. Past players to come through here, and our vantage point suggests it is a definite drop to our right, Kim Ji-hyun's left. It's not that far out. Don't want to overcompensate here either. Is trying to save par. Didn't give herself enough. Started to the inside of that hole and needed about 5 to 6 centimeters more to its opposite side, and it will be a bogey. Let's check in on 18 for the first time today. 180 meters on the second shot, 90 meters remaining. This is Park Young-gyung. She is at 11 over 13 back of the lead in a tie for 25th position. Birdie here yesterday will need her best shot of the round if she wants another. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the reverse announcer's jinx. It is an exceptional shot. From where she was in the rough, you don't have the right club. If you don't execute it properly, it's almost certainly bogey or worse, but she might just be able to move to 10 under after all, or 10 over, excuse me, after all. Yuhei Ran, Chihan Sol, they are both tied at that 11 under, or 11 over score. "13 shots back of this one. Her tee shot is inside of the fairway, a miss to the left into the rough. She's been playing some pretty consistent par golf. I think after that miss, she'd be satisfied with a par. To 14. 177 meters, that is the remaining distance for Bung Min Ji, playing her second, but cannot elude or escape that thick cut of rough. Only 10 birdies at this par 5 12th today. 30 pars, 19 bogeys. Birdie here yesterday for Kim Ji-young too. One here would do wonders. She is also away from the fairway, but her miss is to its right. It is a war of attrition today at Jade Palace. Everyone just trying to mitigate mistakes and find as many pars as possible. Birdie is almost playing as rare as eagle today. That is how tricky this course has been. These are the LF Hazi's point standings entering this week, this major. No movement for anyone in the top 5. Yuhei Ren, Chihan Sol, Pak Jian, Bung Min Ji, and EA1, Kim Soo Ji up 2 spots to 6th. Lee So Mi, Lee Ga Young each dropping 1 spot respectively. No movement for Cho Ayan, but Che A Reem up up 4 positions to 10th. Hong Ji-won, out of the rough, back into the fairway. And that for Kim Ji-young too is unfortunately making a bad situation worse. Nice birdie indeed for Pak Yang. Well earned. Just her third of the day. Out with a 39. In with a 37. A 4-over round. Well, this is the definition of treacherous. Anyone's guess where that ball came to rest.
일로 와서 같이 좀
A
찾아주실래요?
full search party with 7 people involved at the moment. And while that search goes on, more tee shots to be had, and more roughs to be found. Kim Ji-hyun coming up short. The biggest trick of all of that, find it without moving it. It is such a small area, but that is how impenetrable that grass is. Pak Young, a souvenir for the supporters. Time and time again, she is one of the most, if not the most, followed. From the sounds of it, from what we've been told, they're still looking for that ball in the rough. So we have some more time to fill, and we will do so by seeing the tee shot at 15 for Kim Soo-ji on the par 3. Onto the green, and we'll start to roll ever closer. That is picking up all kinds of speed. This is going to work out wonderfully. Keep on going, ball. Inside of 3 meters. She'll take that any day. Well, the good news, they found it. The bad news, I don't think Kim Ji-young-2 can even see it. It is a whack and a prayer. Now she's thinking, please don't find the rough again. Almost laterally out into the fairway. Back in play after a bit of a delay.
을 맞아도 피나일 것 같아. 완전 넘어가진 않거든. 편하게 갈 수 있어.
The tranquility of the clubhouse makes the juxtaposition all the more intense. This is the leaderboard. It is 6 shots between Kim Ji-young-2, Kim Ji-hyun, and Tamin Song from Hong Ji-yeon in the lead at 2 under. It is as much a battle of survival as it is a battle for birdie here in round number 3 of the Hanwha Classic 2022.
오케이. 괜찮아. 잠깐 많아.
Back with our leader at 12. It's 134 meters to go from the fairway. The approach shot on the par 5. And to keep this as far to the right as she dares, in line with the sand. She's cleared everything and will finesse its way onto the right side of the green. Hands up. Yes, you are on the green, Hong Jian. Now 14 with Peng Min-ji from the thick rough. How can she escape here? Pretty darn good is how she can escape here. Wow. Some brilliance. Well, after much fanfare, all of a sudden the fourth shot of the hole for Kim Ji-young-2 needs to get this in Peng Min-ji level proximity to avoid another bogey. It's 125 meters out. She gets up onto the green, pin high, but on the wrong side of the putting surface, starting to look a little bit dejected. And now Kim Ji-hyun from the sand, trying to blast this up and out. She'll take that. The reality is the alternative is much, much worse. Trying to roll this on down and close, but it is quite shallow. Chung Yoon-ji, 84 meters, also from the rough. Well, lands pin high. However, it rolls towards the back. Min-ji there with her par to stay at 6 over. Now Kim Ji-hyun on 13. Starting back to the inside, but it breaks too quickly. Back-to-back bogeys now, her fourth of the day, a double at 5 and only the one birdie at 10. Well, these are a rarity. Kim Soo-ji has her second birdie of the day. It is 6 over now through 15, just 3 holes to play. Despite the supporters' best efforts, that ball would not get in for Kim Ji-young too.
발끝보다 아래로만 안 가면 될 것 같아.
많이 봐도 괜찮은
알아서 갈 거야.
Min Song celebrating that as she anxiously watched it roll in for a 5th consecutive par. It is very even Stevens on this back 9. The drama was earlier in the round. Well, she came close not to pay for another birdie, but we'll be honest, she doesn't need them. Everyone else beneath her struggling to even find pars all the way through. Seems to be the ticket for our leader. Let's go to 18, Im Hee-jung. She is 5 over today, 10 over for the event. Her approach shot at the last. Up it goes into a decent spot. The fringe will help her there, keeping her on the green. Over to 15, Peng Min-chi on the tee. Only 43% greens in regulation today. A lot of that is influenced by her first shots of the holes.
가자.
And now Jung Yoon-ji, this would be a birdie if she can get it all the way there. She's on line until she's not at the end. Some late action to the left to keep it out. Ran next to approach, lacking a bit of that patented swagger that we so often see from her. And Kim Ji-young too. 3 consecutive bogeys, how things have changed so drastically. Let's take a tour of 13 now. It is a 176-meter par 3, pretty much a straight shot down from betwixt the trees to the narrow entry to the green, with the sand trap on either side of it. The pin placement today, well, it is pretty much in the exact middle of its depth, slightly over to the right, and no room for error. If you're short, you are rolling back to the front. Birdies have not been impossible here out of this group. 2 of them, in fact. It's a bit short with that hybrid that she elected to go with. At the risk of sounding like a broken record, don't worry about anything other than par if you're her in this moment. Jung Yoon Ji also going with the hybrid. Very calm and relaxed swing. And bye-bye ball. The ability to have precise control over the distance with hybrid is a skill that even the best in the world can, at some points, struggle. Song on 14 in the thick rough. Does she try and reach? She's really putting a full swing here. Bounces once, twice, comes close towards the sand, stays short. Jung to finish with a birdie, bordering on the thick fringe, doesn't drop enough. Would have had the opportunity to try and reach had she not been in the rough, so she plays conservative and is back into a good location. Mi Jung, it is the final shot of her 54th hole. It is a good run of pars on the way in after going double bogey and bogey early in the back 9. She is 12 off the pace, 3/4 of the way through the tournament. Now Yuhei ran to join that 10 over club. Good control on a tricky putt. Well deserved, just her second of the round. 10 in the last here at 15. These are all the tee shots here. As you can see, if you're not on the green, it's pretty much a guaranteed bogey. Kim Ji-young too off the tee was able to avoid the sand, but only barely. High lofted recovery shots. That's brilliant. Exquisite even. Just a few short feet away from a perilous position. Opposite side of the green to about 3 feet. A long way up, but a decent up for Jung Yoon-ji. Very, very well done from Bang Min-ji. Her first birdie since the third hole. Just starting that above. It is a pretty incredible parabola, considering it's such a short distance. Ji-yeon, that needs to get left in a hurry. As soon as it gets pin high, it starts its move, but that's a bit late. Ji-yeon finishes off with a short putt. 2 under through 13. Hit and stick from the fairway to about 5 meters. And now Kim Ji-young too, a little right to left downhill for par. Oh no, that looked good all the way through. That's perplexing. Just when you thought she was going to break that run. Golf gods. Rather ugly hit again. See if Jung Yoon-ji can convert on a short par attempt. Very dramatic and overstated swing. She does have it there. 7 shots separates her and the lead. Min Song pitched over the bunker on the green with still a good portion of work to do. Genie, it's 107 from the fairway, the final hole of her round, par 5 18th. Gets that to stop in a hurry. Very accurate approach shot. Nice control, too, to keep it almost exactly in place. The line was there. Had a little bit more pace, it would have fallen. G from the fairway, trying to build a little confidence, a little momentum, but that is squashed. Stuck in the rough once again for the top player in the country. Now on 14, Kim Ji-hyun needs this lengthy par to avoid a bogey, but it's outside. Quite the gap that Yuhei Ran is putting together atop the Eliphazzi's point standings. Over 1,300 points from Jihan Seol, who has less than 200 on Park Ji-young. From there, another pretty substantial margin between she and Peng Min-ji, who has played 4 less events this season. The lowest by a mile of anyone inside the top 10. Just 13 events, but she's been able to amass 4,600 points. She and Lee Ga-young, the only players in the top 8 in the Eliphazzi's point standings who have yet to miss a cut this year. Entering this event, of course. And now Kim Ji-hyun to wrap up 14 with a bogey. Takes her to 6 over for the tournament, 7 over for the day. Song also a short bogey putt. Down she goes to 5 over. Shake of the head as she exits the green. And moving right along. 218, Im Ji-ni. A look at 5 over. That is a tie for third. Well outside though. 73 round 1, 75 yesterday, 74 today, exactly in the middle. Didn't bogey until the 14th, but unfortunately it was 3 in a 4-hole stretch from that point. Now Hong Ji-yeon looking like a hybrid for the second on 14. The field tends to love this club with this distance, 170 to 185. Well, she was well wide of the green. The question now is it in the sand? Looks challenging regardless. Jung Yoon-ji, 14, second shot. Bounces once, the last little strip of fairway, rolling onto the green, but right when she was needing to be left. Back to 16, Pugnan G. She's had a couple of good outs from these similar positions. She might hole this out. Oh! Catches some of the hole. Slightly offline to the right, and it pops back out to the other side. More from 18, Chihan Sol. She is 12 over through 53 holes. A birdie would take her to 11. Starting back to the right. Yes, a birdie at the end. Her first of the day, believe it or not. 5 bogeys, a double at 10, 6 over, a 78 in round number 3. I don't think you could ask or design a much better set of conditions. And the only real symmetry that we're seeing between this year and last year's event is the gap. 7 strokes Hong Jian from those tied at 5 over for the runner-up position. Lee Da-yeon had won by 7 strokes over Che A-jin in 2021, though still plenty of golf to be played before we can crown a champion. However, for the player who has never won on this tour, she'll be in pretty good confidence and pretty good momentum towards the end of round number 3. Just after 4 p.m. local time in the Gangwon-do province. We'll take a quick break and be back to Jade Palace right after this. Welcome back. This is the most populated we've seen, the bleachers in behind the 18th green so far this week. You can imagine there will be quite the raucous crowd tomorrow. Min Song, her tee shot. It is an iron, probably 6, maybe even a 5 on the tee at the par 3. That is a very good result. She needs to start converting on some birdies here. It is a shocking leaderboard, to be completely honest, that we only have one player under par and that only one player has so thoroughly survived the course so far. 2 under for the tournament, 1 under for the day. The next lowest score, not even. Nobody is even other than she. It is only ENG who's able to finish with a 74 today. Hong Jian just a little loft, rolling it closer and closer. She has 7 strokes to play with, but she should be able to hole out from about 3 meters. There's something to be said about steady golf. Not trying to do too much, not playing scared, not being overconfident, respecting the course and staying within your limitations. Jung Yoon-ji also in this group, looking for a birdie. That's a decent weight. It's another example of leaving too much work to do for par, for birdie even. They're just not going down. Kim Soo-ji. 112 meters on this approach, trying to set up a par. Doesn't want to advance any further than that. Lands on a dime. Kim Ji-young too. That is a very well-earned birdie. Excuse me, a very long-earned par to break up the shrieks of bogeys. Just her 6th of the day, heading to the 15th tee. Celebrating as though it is a birdie, and with all things being equal, it might as well be. One hole further ahead, Min Song starting this to the inside of the cup pretty significantly. Moving back down, she's got that great putt. Her 2nd birdie of the day and her first since the 6th. Takes her to 4 over par, and with it, sole possession of the 2nd place on the leaderboard. Rocking back onto her heels. That's how close she came to finding another par in a day that has not seen many bogeys. Takes her closer to even. And in the last 30 seconds or so, that gap has narrowed to 5 strokes from 7, where we were before our quick pause. Flopped up from Jenny Sheen. short tap in, par remaining for her. Good control to keep it close. This time she's able to convert from close quarters. It is 4 holes to play. Birdie or 2 would put herself into very good positioning looking at tomorrow's final round. She is 6 back now all of a sudden, but she is the highest score of the lot today after her 67 in round number 2. A good start to this par 3. 3.5 to 4 meters out. She'll glance down and think to herself, absolutely must take advantage of that. Seeing the effort from her group mate and saying, yeah, I can match that. And now that the run of bogeys is over, maybe she can continue that upward trajectory. Well, everyone is aboard. Saw from Kim Soo-ji earlier a similar ride to the left, only to bring it back towards the middle. Somebody out of the 3 has to have a birdie there, don't they? Speaking of Kim Soo-ji, let's go to 17 as she tries to avoid a bogey. It is an uphill putt. Doesn't move over to the right in time. Three down. The 18th and final hole of her round upcoming. She's within 8 of the leader. Will be all about how quickly she can start the round tomorrow. At that mark with Pei So-hyun, Kim Ji-ni, Kim Ji-hyun, Kim Ji-young 2 tied for 5th. Pang Min-ji, Chung Yoon-ji +5. Ha-min Sung 4 over. Hong Ji-yeon the only player under par. This stretch of 4 final holes could go a long way into padding the advantage heading into tomorrow. It would seem fitting if by the end of the day our leader was over par. He's hanging on for dear life. That is the only way to try and play Jade Palace. Let's go to Bungenji on the penultimate hole, 171 meters. That's heading left. It's onto the green. Needs to be back left, and it's a very, very good effort. Jeong 2. Bogey run, sayonara. Can she start a stretch of birdies on the way in? Get there. Oh. That's a cruel miss. No doubt about it. You feel like you do everything right, and the margin is so slim. Watching it again, she has the putter raised in early approval, but it had other ideas. 125 on this approach shot for Hamin Song from off the fairway. Bounces once, twice, and picks up all the speed. 2-putt par would be satisfactory after that. Chung Yoon-ji's turn to try and take advantage of this hole. She too glances and stays out, and if our third round highlights were just that reaction on repeat, that would tell a story. Even the caddy folds his arms across his chest. Thinking, really? I played that well, which she did. Dejection is the common theme. Majors aren't supposed to be easy, and this Hanwha Classic is living up to the billing. Jian attempting to save par. She's got that. 3 to go to try and stay under par. Got to set hole by hole goals. Compartmentalize the battle. And now the par save. Par saved. On to 16. 2 par 4s and a par 5 remain for our featured group. Hamin Song on that forthcoming 16th. A long way back towards the front. It even had that tail towards the left. Oh, this sport that we love can be thrilling and cruel all in one go. Back with driver, only 45% of these tee shots on the par 4s and 5s have found the fairway. Can she add another? Yes, if it slows down, it does. Nice tee shot. Onto the green at 16, Kim Ji-hyun. She put together a little charge late in the round. That looks left. Comeback ball. Just about. Back-to-back pars now. Only one birdie on the day. That came at 10. Now Kim Ji-young, Tuesday shot. Some relief, I think, to see that stop and stay in the fairway. That is 2 for 2. Now what can the leader do? And a perfect 3 for 3. It's 344 meters. This par 4. That is the third shortest on course, the second shortest of the back 9. The 302-meter par 4 10th is the shortest, other than 13 and 15, of course. Green at 17. Left to right and back again for Peng Min-ji. Narrowly missing to the inside. Well, we couldn't ask for much better conditions for this third round. It will be a little bit more cloudy tomorrow, should the forecast stay true. But the temperature, the wind, just about everything else will be sticking around until Sunday. We will lose some of the visibility when we show you this exact shot in about 22 hours from now. Don't think we'll be able to see those mountains deep in the background, but the rain's staying away, and from last week, that is a big deal. We don't need any more hazards to contend with. Three holes down for Peng Min-ji now. Stays 3 over for the day. It is really a race between the trio of Chung Yun-ji, Peng Min-ji, and Hamin Song for second on the way, and no one will be able to catch Min-ji on today. They're trying to position themselves to be in the mix tomorrow. Kim Soo-ji. On pace for her highest round of the week, even with a birdie there. As we take a look at 16 next, 209, 219, 223, the respective drives. Kim Ji-young 2, it's not quite as long as her group mates. That one 223, 4 meters longer, but she was able to have that nice fade into a good spot. And you can see everyone in those similar landing and finishing positions off the tee all found par. Encouraging signs. Eight iron for Hong Ji-yeon. 24 meters atop the apex. Unable to find the putting surface back into the rough. It's a little bit short. .116 for Chung Yoon-ji. Towards the middle, doesn't really bite as much as she would have wanted it to, but she was also contending with the tailwind. Kim Ji-young to it is pitching wedge from 115. Well, 2 of the 3 able to find the green. Perhaps there is a birdie amongst Kim Ji-young 2 and Chung Yoon-ji. It's narrowing slightly, isn't it, this leaderboard? With just 3 greens remaining, 2 tee shots, including the lengthy par 5 to wrap up the day. 2.5 hours down into our 3rd round coverage. Hope you're enjoying it. Another pause and back out to Jay Palace in just a couple of minutes. We are wrapping up the month of August and just about ready to kick off a very busy month of September. Only 2 events between majors. We'll head to Sunning Point next week for the 11th KGE Daily Ladies Open. From there, Orange Dunes. Yeonjung, the El Crew TV, Joseon Pro Celebrity 2022. And before we know it, we will be at Blackstone Icheon for the KB Financial Group Star Championship. Another one beyond 1 billion won purse, of which we have plenty in the next 8 tournaments. Up went our leader, and now Jenny Sheen, just shy of the 18th green from the rough. Needs to take a pretty direct line. Fringe would be great, but not that shallow, unfortunately. Too slow on the follow through, and she is not able to find the putting surface. She can still putt from there. That will be the decision that she has facing her next. As we go back to 16, Chung Yoon-ji. A long putt back towards the front. That would take her to just 5 strokes off of the lead. Starting left. Okay, straightening out. It might be on. Oh, grazes the inside and stays out. Electing not to putt, just a little chip. That's where she wanted the last shot to end up. She goes, okay. That worked out. Be a putt for bogey next. Jeong to the last of the birdie hopes at 16. 6 meters out, 18% probability of connecting on this. That's left 2, isn't it? Yes, it is. Collective groan from the supporters. Suji on 18. She was right in the mix all the way to the end last week, where she finished 4th after a combined tournament score of 280. Finds herself in a tie for 5th as she makes her way off the 18th green. Should be another good finish, but far from the finish line. G will be dropping out of a joint podium position if she cannot convert this par. That looks good. It is good. That's a relief as much as it is a celebration. 6 consecutive pars. So 71 for her in the final round last week, the 3rd 71 she posted at the Hanwha Resort. Now Jenny Sheen for a birdie, or a bogey, excuse me. Just has it. Start of the round great, a birdie at the first. 7 bogeys, excuse me, from there, unfortunately. Out with a 39, in with a 39, plus 6 on the day. Takes her down amongst some big names like Park Young-kyung and Im Hee-jung at 10 over. A short par, but she's right on that equal streak. Still even, 2 to go. Look how daunting those sand traps are, my goodness. It's one of the best looks we've had at them all week. From the rough, back to the rough, and short of the putting surface. Tee shots at 17 will be next, but we need Kim Ji-young-2 to finish this 16th first. There it is, it's a par. Min Sung's approach. It's 159. Just inside and away from hybrid range, which could be a good thing. And it turns out to be a very good thing. Look at this. Less than 2 meters away from a birdie. Very well earned. She occupies the sole possession of second, and she might even be able to move within 4 after another brilliant approach. She's had a few of them this week, let's be honest. Not quite the eagle, but the eagle that we saw yesterday, but that is right up there. Ji did not seem pleased after she made contact with that shot. Now would be why it's short and back into the rough. This is 17, a 372-meter par 4. Dogleg left. Narrowing from 155 meters all the way to the other side of the bunkers, 30 meters further down. You can see this tabletop 17th. From there, the approach shots, needing to avoid the rough, needing to avoid that front left bunker, looking to the back, where the flag today in that bit of yellow at the back, 7 yards from the rear, 11 yards from the left side. Bogey round 1, birdie yesterday. Into the fairway, nice drive. Min-ji, well, that is a good recovery from the rough. Tip of the visor. She says, where was that last time? Should be on for a par though. And now Kim Ji-young 2. Birdie just as Chung Yoon-ji had done yesterday. She's only found one fairway in regulation today. The drivers really caused her some problems, and unfortunately that FAR mark is going to drop again. The red flag goes down so she can locate it in the rough. Meanwhile, Mung Jion has had much more success with the driver, and that is why she is where she is. 10 of 12 fairways in regulation. It doesn't always need to be incredibly powerful, just needs to be accurate. She doesn't look thrilled with it. And that would be why into the thick stuff to the right of the fairway. Ji Hyun finds the middle of the green. It is a lengthy, lengthy par though. And now Bang Min-ji to finish the round with a par, putting with the wind behind the ball, a little left to right, looks good. So, again, we're seeing a burn of the edge. Sometimes all you can do is grit your teeth and smile in disbelief. An uphill putt for par. Can she get it there? The distance was there. Breaks away to the outside of the very end. It will be a tap-in bogue. On her toes, on her right foot, staying out of Hamin Song's lie. The fourth bogey of the back nine, the sixth of the day. She also had a double on the front. G, despite a tough day at the office, in a good spot. 76, 4 over, 2 birdies, and 6 bogeys on the day. Hugs for the group mates. She is in a tie for third with Chung Yoon-ji, 6 back of the lead. 1 back of Hamin Song. Unless this birdie falls, she is 4 over. 1 swing of the club could bring her within 4 of the lead. No. Wow. Just immediately kicks away. Pretty well the same distance now on a par putt that she was just mere moments ago. She'll be thinking about that missed opportunity all the way to the 18th tee. Some more victims on 17. One birdie here all day. That is that red dot you see towards the left. And all kinds of bogeys. This has been one of, if not the most challenging holes. 44 players went over par here today. One birdie, by the way, Park Jae-yoon finished 6 over, down at 15 over for the tournament. Pitched up out of the rough. Can she find the fairway again? Yes, she can, right down the middle of it. Not just this week, but in general, she has seemingly found the template on how to navigate this Jade Palace. Tied for third last year. At this rate, anything less than a podium tomorrow would be a severe disappointment. Kim Ji-young follows suit, rough to fairway. Player to find the fairway off the tee was Chung Yoon-ji. Trying to keep pace with Ha-min Song. She had a birdie here yesterday, is in a great spot to replicate that performance. Her only bogey of the second round came at the first hole. Song pars every time she's played 17, every time she's played 18 this week so far. If that hits the brakes, it would have been a good shot. Most of the time from those around the tee who go to nice shot immediately. It's just the fact that it's straight. Sometimes though, straight can be bad, especially with that much power on a narrow fairway. Jung-min, meanwhile, was even by the end of the round yesterday, 8 over today. Should be finishing in a tie for 8th after that brilliant pitch up to the green. Nice and close, couple of meters shy. Would be her first birdie of the day if she can convert. Kim Ji-young to 121 meters to go. Any extra on it. As soon as it lands on the green, she'll have an uphill putt for par. Everyone is on. It is really only Chung Yoon-ji, however, who should be converting on a birdie. And as we take a look at the updated leaderboard, it would bring her into a tie for second, depending on how Hamin Song's 18th hole goes. We'll wrap up the 17th, and we will head over to 18 with final round highlights, or third round highlights, excuse me, and a final look at the leaderboard after another quick break.
일단 빼줄게. Stop.
Just past 5 p.m. local time here at Jade Palace. That was Hamin Song on 18. Will she have some company at 4 under? She has been in hot pursuit of this birdie for quite some time, Jung Yoon-ji. And she finally has it. Her first of the day, her last birdie was yesterday at 17, and she has the blueprint on how to solve this penultimate hole figured out once again. Moves back into a tie for second position. She was in a tie for first by the end of the round yesterday. We had 4 players under par at the midway mark of this tournament. Kim Ji-young too was one of them. Jung Yoon-ji was another. Kim Ji-hyun and Hong Ji-yeon. About 23 hours later, we might finally lose, well, we will finally lose those under par scores, at least for the time being. This is for a bogey.
Okay.
It was nice to see some red numbers while it lasted. Her third bogey of the day. Her advantage is down to 4 with just 1 hole to play. And that 1 hole is this 18th. Kim Ji-hyun, 172 meters on the approach. Wants to be in line but away from the sand. She is in line but short. Bogey for Kim Ji-young too. That takes her down to a tie for 7th position, her 5th of the back nine, 7th of the day. Now Hamin's song, it's 149. Oh, that's gonna drop into the beach. The distance was perfect, just needed to be a little bit more to the right, and she would have been thinking about birdie. Now all of a sudden, might just be a bogey. Birdie in round one. A birdie here again in the 3rd round would likely move her to within 3, but she drives through the fairway and into the rough.
먼저 치. 동영상 버튼 미리 눌러주세요. 감사합니다.
바람은 약간 밀어주는 거?
She hasn't had too many situations where she's trying to rebound from a bogey. That looks like another classy drive. Slow up ball. I think it will avoid the thickest part of the rough, but it is off the fairway.
플레이하겠습니다. 멈춰주세요.
There's a wide open fairway for Kim Ji-young too. Two-time winner. Hasn't won since 2020 BC Card Hangyang Ladies Cup. She's had runner-up finishes at a major before. In fact, she's done that a handful of times. Tied for 2nd at the 40th KLPGA Championship back in 2018. Tied for runner-up again at that same tournament last year. And was 2nd at the KLPGA Championship in 2016. She finds herself now off the front page of the leaderboard. The gap is narrowing. Anything really can happen with Chung Yun-ji and Hong Ji on both into the rough on this final hole of the day. This beautiful Greg Norman designed Jade Palace. It's played tricky today. Can only imagine what tomorrow, Championship Sunday, will have in store.
준비하겠습니다. 잠시만 멈춰주세요.
Well, as expected, just avoids a perilous position. She's going to try and punch this back into the fairway with hybrid. Still 278 to go for our leader. Oh, but that is hooking badly. She was able to avoid that exact lie off the tee, but the little bit of rough was enough to prevent her from finding the fairway with her second shot. And now Kim Ji-hyun, a similar bit of rough, but she catches that perfectly. Nice and close. Should be a par to finish. That's what excuse me, not Hanshin Sun. We're thinking about the Hanwha Resort Ladies Open again, aren't we? That's what Hong Jian would have wanted with her second shot. Jung Min-ji able to get back to the fairway and take up a good amount of distance as well. As we go to the sand, I mean, Song, she'll take that. Just about anybody in the world would take that out. Kim Jeong too, just the second fairway she was able to find all day. Sets herself up well for this second shot, 265 an iron. Uneventful is a compliment at Jade Palace. That's a good iron shot. Umbrella comes out to keep that setting sun off of her. Now Hamin Song to complete the sand save. She's got that. In with the 36 after a 40 to start the day. Tied for second. She had to really work at it on the way in. Kim Ji-hyun, her 80th shot of the day. To stay inside of the top 10. A little right to left. She'll take it. She'll be happy to see it in the rearview mirror. Go inside, sign that scorecard, and then I think take a few hours off from thinking about golf, thinking about this major. And then it will be preparation time. How do we eliminate those mistakes tomorrow will be the question. But she and the other 61 people trailing Jiyeon will be contemplating.
마이크로까지 써도 되죠?
So looking left again, isn't it? Doesn't get underneath it at all. That is another hook shot that she tops a little bit. She stays out of the sand, but not the path she would have wanted to be taking here. Never good when the camera operator's expecting it to go high and they have to adjust to stay on top of the ball. approach shots like that are taking place. I believe that would have been Kim Ji-young-2's effort. No, that would have been Chung Yoo-ji, excuse me. Now Kim Ji-young-2. Trying to join the former on the green, maybe even a little bit shorter. It's a 97-meter approach. She's played this 18th well so far. You would know with an attack plan and an execution like that here on 18 that she's seen more than her fair share of difficulties on this Saturday afternoon. Bogey feels almost inevitable as she can pull a rabbit out of her hat. Stay left while also avoiding the other sand trap in front of her. High lofted, safely on the green. She'll have a putt for bogey, and even if she drops one, the lead will be intact. It just might be a little bit slimmer than it was about 15 minutes ago. Well, this was the great ball hunt of the 12th hole, as everyone was teaming up to try and locate Kim Ji-young-2's Titleist in the rough there. That is how she played her escape. Once the search party had done their job. Plenty of smiles from Hong Ji-yeon today, as you'd expect, as she is once again in contention for this major championship, looking for her first ever senior circuit victory. About 22 hours from now. The pressure here on 18 can be at a level she has never experienced before. Still can't get over every time we get a different perspective of the bunkers. They're hardly sand traps, they're almost cliffs. That's a good look at it as well. That is a solid wall. The pin today is middle left, but if we go by pattern's sake, round one here at 18 was back right. Yesterday, the flag had been front right. I can see the tournament committee deciding to go front and left. Or maybe even 15 yards further back just to keep that sand trap in play. Very curious in a lot of fronts tomorrow. This now, the putt for par needs to get moving to the left. Stay straight all the way through that putt. She had just on 17 dropped to even, and nobody will be even par by the end of this 54th hole of the tournament. Can Jung Yoon-ji find a birdie to make the deficit just 3? Definitely be one that she'd believe she can overcome, considering she was able to amass a 67 yesterday. Which is still the lowest round of the week by 2 strokes. It was an even par first round for Kim Ji-young too, a 72. 71 yesterday. This birdie would be her 79th stroke of the day. Would take her into a tie for 4th with Kim Soo-ji, Yoon Ji-ni, and Peng Min-ji. This is a deceptively straight putt for birdie. Maybe a little left to right, but hardly much movement. Just as we predicted, it was straight. She overcompensated and it cost her. So it is an 80, just as Kim Ji-hyun had shot today. Kim Hee-yeon as well. 7 over, tied for 7th through 3 rounds of this event. From the loved ones off the green saying, "Oh, so close." That leaves just 2 of the 62 that started the day out there. And it could be the leader and P2 if this putt falls. So we will remember that, if anything, it's a slight break to the left. 4.6 meters, mostly straight. Doesn't account for it either. So 10 strokes more today than she needed yesterday. A 77 in round 3 to sit 3 back, knowing that Hong Ji-yeon is about to bogey. Some bogeys to the outside, and more supporters thinking, how cruel, how many close calls could we possibly have today? And the last to finish, Kim Ji-young. She is the leader through 3 rounds, and it is a 3-stroke cushion heading into Championship Sunday tomorrow. A 73. Sometimes the patterns are hard to believe. 71 round 1, 72 yesterday, and a 73 today. Before we sign off, let's go through this set of highlights from round 3. We'll begin, fittingly, on the first hole. Kim Ji-young 2. From just off the front edge, watch this break. Going all the way back and just having enough. She celebrated that in big-time fashion, as she should, because there wouldn't be many more on the day for her. Next up on the second hole, the leader, Hong Ji-yeon, just over the fringe and rolling close. see too many of these today. Luckily, Kim Ji-hyun from one side of the green all the way to the over. Her caddy even drops the bag and tried to make sure he had a clear line of sight. And the drama was not done for her. She goes back to the other side of the green. And when all was said and done, she thought, okay, at least I can two-putt. But it loops around. And that would be the highest score of her day, a triple bogey at the par 3 fifth. She had been even up until that point. This was Hamin Song. Right to left putt that had no business dropping. Her first birdie of the day at the 6th hole. Birdies at 2, and then that one at 8 for Hong Jian. She went out with a 35. Song, with 9 holes in between pickups, would have one at 15. Then with a beautiful view up towards the mountains on the horizon, Jung Yoon-ji roll herself close and capitalize on the opportunity at 17. That took her to 4 over. Her final birdie of the day to move at that point within 4 strokes of the leader. But after a very tumultuous 18th hole, Hong Jian spent a lot of time in the rough. That would have been her putts for par, but she would drop one at the end, but she can still salute the fact that she has the outright lead by 3 strokes through 3 rounds of play. Well, a difficult day, no doubt about it, up and down the leaderboard. Everybody over par for the day and now for the event as well. Specifically tricky for Moon Jung-min with a 79 for the rookie, 80s for Kim Ji-hyun and Kim Ji-young-2. Remarkably, there are only 14 players who are single digits over par. And you can imagine it's not going to get a whole lot easier tomorrow on Championship Sunday. These majors, you have to battle, you have to grind. And as we've said and as we've been shown, it is a war of attrition and survival as much as it is a battle for birdies. Regardless, it is absolutely spectacular theater on one of the best stages this country has to offer, this Jade Palace, and we know we are in for more drama tomorrow. Reminder that on the final round Sundays, we go back 2 hours from the first 2 rounds and an hour from where we were today, so set your timer, set your schedules accordingly as we will be teeing off at 1 p.m. local time. I've been Adam Jenkins. Thank you so much for joining us for round 3 on behalf of our SBS Golf and Spa crews. We say goodbye for now. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday and make sure you return to Jade Palace with us tomorrow as we crown a major champion. Will it be Hong Jian's first win of her career? Will it be Chung Yoon-ji's second of the season? Or might there just be a different protagonist and hero when all is said and done tomorrow? Goodbye for now. See you tomorrow. Take good care. And we look forward to welcoming you back to the Hanwha Classic 2022 before you know it.